So today I'll be talking about then what? Take two. So for the first practitioner we learned about Stanislavski, and I thought Stanislavski was really good. Like, it's actually really hard to pull off Stanislavski because loads of work goes into it. So in Stanislavski, you have to like immerse yourself into this character. So you have to like put yourselves in their shoes and completely become the character. My dog just interrupted me. So go through your monologue and put in a verb. So like what your character wants to be doing while they're saying this line. So if it's got a movement on this line, you have to be like, you have to say why your character's moving, like what it is its superior motion. So you have to think, when you're learning about Stanislavski, you have to think about the given circumstances. So the mood, the atmosphere, the weather, like everything in that moment. So who you are, first of all, why you're there, what you're doing, when are you doing it, and where you are. Oh, I think I already said that. Okay. You also have to use the magic if, which is it's basically if your character was put in a certain situation, what would it do, and how they'd react, and that's really important in learning about your character. So it's in the end you'll be able to become that character a lot better. You also have to use your imagination quite a lot in Stanislavski because you do have to fold and like disappear into your character. So you can't be self-conscious at all. If you're put in a given circumstance, like what would you do? And how would you react? So you have to imagine how you'd react. I'm trying to get this accent, but I can't. Okay, you have to concentrate on your role. So you have to really like be able to, you can't come out of role. You have to relax your muscles because you're performing this monologue as if you're speaking to somebody or if you're speaking to yourself. So if you were speaking to somebody in a normal conversation, you wouldn't be tense and you wouldn't be shaken or scared. And if you're speaking to yourself, you'd be very comfortable. So you have to be comfortable in your own skin to be able to perform. Also, a really important part of Stanislavski is emotion memory. So you have to, if your character is portraying a sad, like depressed moment in their life, you have to be able to think to a time in your life when you were sad and recall that when you're saying the monologue, and that will actually make you sad. So a good one to think about is if your pet died or if you lost any person in your life or anything, because that will actually make you feel something, and it makes it so much more believable if you're actually like feeling something. To have aims and objectives. I kind of said this before, but I just looked at my book and I got it wrong. So you have to, what your aim is for that line and what your overall aim is in while you're saying this, or in that time of your life, what your overall aim is. And then you've got objectives. So your objective in that line, so if you're trying to go somewhere, if you want to get the candle, if you want to humiliate somebody, if you want to tell somebody off, if you want to be angry. And then you've got super objectives, which are like what you want in like the whole kind of scheme of things. So my character I was doing for Stanislavski was Lady Macbeth, and her super objective was to kill Duncan. So I do enjoy Stanislavski, and I think I can action my words, but I find it quite hard sometimes because so much work has to go into it, and you have to come so prepared, and you just have to do so much work on your script or on your monologue, and sometimes I do find that quite hard, but in the end, I do enjoy like immersing myself in a character. So yeah, that is my overall review. I like it. But I think if I'm doing Stanislavski again, I need to definitely put more work into preparing, like getting my aims and my super objectives and my objectives. I have to get them clear, and I have to have interesting ones, because that like makes the character a lot more interesting and appealing to an audience. So I definitely think I should do that. But no, I do enjoy Stanislavski. I can tell my phone is going to fall. So the next practitioner I'm going to be talking about is Arto. I don't really know his full name, if it's a guy. If it's a girl, that's cool too. Arto. So you just witnessed some Arto performance by me. So, Arto is to get back in role. So to prepare for, oh no, I didn't even explain what Arto was. Arto is and this accent doesn't really do Arto justice, but it's about provoking the audience and taking them on a journey. It's like about scaring them as well. No, it's about unsettling them. That's what it is. So it's very interactive with the audience. The audience are normally in the center of the action. And it's a very surreal atmosphere. Arto uses lots of rituals, because that is very like, it's quite scary seeing lots of rituals. I'm gonna give you an example of some rituals. A ritual is a repeated sequence with a meaning for an observer. I forgot. Arto is about also. My sentence didn't make sense. Arto is about dehumanizing yourself as well. And so instead of being a human in your piece, you need to like become a chair. And yeah, you get what I mean. So basically, anything that isn't human, become it. So to do this, we thought of dreams and nightmares, dolls, wetting myself, running on a stage naked, and blenders. Pick one of these. I picked blenders, and you have to perform it in an Artodian way in your group. At first, I didn't really know how to do that. I ended up becoming the blender. Your audience always have to be at the vortex of the actions. Your audience is going to be in the middle, and you're going to be performing on the outside of them. So they feel trapped, and yeah. The aim was to entrap, engulf, cajole, and to convince the audience to join the dark side. Join the dark side. I actually really enjoyed Arto, and when I did it as my performance, but I did find it really hard to get into from going from Stanislavski to Arto. I found that quite hard. Overall, I really enjoyed Arto. I found it really hard to transition from Stanislavski to Arto, so it took me a while to get into it. But as I've said before, I think I'm a really physical actor. So in the end, I did enjoy it, and I really liked the group I was with, because we all just really wanted to get work done. And yeah, I was scared myself. I was performing this, but I was scared myself of what I was performing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I don't know, but I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? Like afterwards, I was like, did I really do that? Yes. Brecht. The most important thing about Brecht is you have to demonstrate a character, not become it. Brecht, every unit must have a question. Brecht is about portraying a political message. For our Brecht, we picked angry issues that we felt really strongly about. Brecht is about non-naturalistic techniques, so you can use sound montages, freeze frames, tableaus, repetition, a song, slow motion, third person, dictionary definitions, when you're saying somebody else's thoughts out loud. I don't remember what it's called. Oh my god. This is going to kill me. It's really hard with Brecht because after every sentence, no, in every sentence you're saying, you have to have a question. So like what you want the audience to think to themselves, like what you want them to ask themselves. Really good to use juxtaposition and irony in Brecht. An example of this would be somebody standing up singing God save the gracious Queen, and somebody kneeling down in front of them going, please sir, I'm homeless, please give me some more sir, please, 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 please. Although we haven't done our piece on Brecht, I actually found it like when a good piece of Brecht was done, I was like, oh my god, that is so good. But I found it really hard creating a question for every sentence, because you really have to analyse and break down your script or whatever you're writing, so each line has a question, and that takes quite a lot of time. And I know that's what, if you're studying it, that's what you need to do, and that's what you need to prepare, but I actually found it really hard thinking about questions. So I really liked watching Brecht, and I would enjoy performing it as well, but it would just take me ages, literally, and I actually did find that quite hard. So Berkhof is enhanced physical theatre. We didn't really get to perform any Berkhof, apart from we did a lesson on it in the drama studio, but we did get to watch a lot of Berkhof. And basically Berkhof is a drama, a piece of theatre which uses really enhanced physical movements and gestures, and you use a lot of guttural noises and putting all your energy into being this huge character, and so obviously that's very tiring. Common themes used in Berkhof performances are class, combat and courtship, sex, power, violence, vengeance and revenge. And those are just, well, things used in everything, but you must use in Berkhof are huge facial expressions and body language. Mime is also a really good one to use. Intonation, props, they're good. Music, pitch, pace, it has to be really fast. Still image, I don't know what that means, but I wrote it down, so I'm just going to say it. Improvisation, exaggeration of voice and body. Berkhof performances are influenced by history and like grotesque historic events that happened in the past. So we watched a GCSE piece on Jack the Ripper. That was a really good base to the story, because you could act out all the deaths and everything. Berkhof normally has very huge makeup, and it's really important to powder your face, loads, because you're going to be really, really sweating in Berkhof, and the audience don't really want you kind of dripping all over them. I'd call Berkhof in-your-face theatre, because it's very about, it's very intense and full on, and sometimes some people don't like it because, they just, it's very loud and fast, but I really like it. I think it's very, I like it. So overall, I really like Berkhof, but again, we haven't really done anything where I can properly assess how good I am at it, but I do think I could do it. I would really like to have a chance to perform Berkhof. I don't know if I'd be able to I don't think I have the fitness levels to maintain at that high intensity, but what I've seen so far, I really like that. So Berkhof, aside from Berkhof, we have physical theatre, which is, well, I'm going to put physical theatre and, oh no, I'll just do physical theatre on its own. So we did a double session on physical theatre, and we used lifts. Lifts are a very good way to use physical theatre. Basically, physical theatre, I'm going to start again. Physical theatre is about portraying raw emotions and a story or a plot through physical movement without so much speaking behind it. With physical theatre, you really have to push your body to the boundaries and experiment with how comfortable you are in like your own movements, and you have to also really be comfortable with the partner you're working with or the group you're working with, because you're going to be using their bodies as props and dehumanizing their bodies, and sometimes people aren't comfortable with touching other people. You have to be able to work with each other's bodies and push each other to the limit to get to have a good piece of theatre. So yeah, I would really like to try physical theatre, because I kind of like the whole idea of portraying a story without actually saying things, because that can leave those the audience can interpret that the way they want. But yeah, I would really like to try that one day, and so far I'd really enjoyed it. The hair has gone up. This is serious. So next up, I'm going to be talking about children's theatre, and I actually do really enjoy children's theatre. You have to be really energetic and over the top and constantly energized, otherwise kids will get bored. Key aspects of children's theatre are interacting with the audience, having a simple plot, adventure and like a quest are very popular with children. Music, like songs and rhyme. Kids love song and rhyme, and it's also a really good way of interacting with the audience to get them to sing along to something, and that keeps them intrigued with the plot as well. Kids also love relatable characters, like very stereotypical, so having an evil person and a goodie, a villain and a hero. Kids also really appeal to a set which is very bright and colourful, as well as the costumes being very bright and colourful, because they're kids. They love like pink and yellow, and yeah, so it really appeals to them and makes it more interesting. Kids also love humour, especially toilet humour. They will crack up like with anything slapstick or anything to do with toilets, and that keeps them very interested. Also, casual violence appeals to kids, because they'll find that like insanely funny, and even though it's just exaggerated and silly and nothing is ever going to harm the person, it does, because they like to laugh at a person, kids. And it also gets them like chanting, and it's keeps the plot interesting and active. To be a good children's theatre actor, you have to be able to use exaggerated gestures, expressions, movement, so the gems and the 4 Ps. Another great technique for children's theatre is puppetry, because kids love puppets, and it's a really good way of keeping them interested, and you can use accents, and it just creates a plot that's more interesting and it appeals to younger. I really like children's theatre because I like the whole how much energy and how energized it is, and you can never stop with children's theatre. You've always got to be active, and I actually really like that, because it means you can't really stop to think, you just do things in the moment. I like being over the top, and with children's theatre you just have an excuse to say things that appeal to your immature self. So yeah, I do really like that. I don't know if I'd be able to, if I like it enough to do it for like as a GCSE devised piece, but I would be happy to act in children's theatre, whatever. So yeah, thank you for listening to this kind of silly video blog that I am doing. I hope it gave you an insight into what drama pieces I like, and yeah, I hope I don't sound too stupid on camera. Thank you.